It's not just electric, it's a Mercedes. Mercedes EQ, where luxury is reimagined for a sustainable world, where iconic design satisfies your desire for better, where reducing emissions is exciting. And now Mercedes introduce a new dimension to the EQ range at MSL Grange Motors. The all-electric EQB, offering 7 seats as standard, the sustainability of all-electric, the luxury of a Mercedes. Discover the all-electric EQB at MSL Grange Motors, South County Dublin.
Seriously Sinister discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all of you psychopaths out there.
Names and places have been changed to protect the hosts legally.
Listener discretion is not advised. Sinister.
Welcome to Seriously Sinister. When you realize the purse you stole doesn't go with your outfit. This is Trevin, and I am joined by Caitlin and Cassie of PNW, Haunts and Homicides.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going, ladies?
Good. How are you, Trevin?
You know, I'm doing okay. I'm making it without Amanda.
Yeah.
Everything was already kind of difficult, but then I decided to have some sort of, I don't know if it's a cold or if it's allergies. When you hit a certain age, I don't think you can tell the difference anymore.
Yeah.
No.
It's so true.
So it's been a struggle, but you know what? We're hanging in there. Just housekeeping so everybody knows. I know we're kind of recording weirdly in the future, but for people who do not follow on social media and only follow on the show, I do actually have an update. Amanda did have the baby.
Yay!
It's a little girl named Winnie Rain Rose.
So cute.
She's absolutely precious.
Oh, she's so cute. And for anybody who follows the show very closely, part of how she got the name was because of her obsession with drinking Winnie Palmer's while she was pregnant. So it's fun to see that there's a baby that the name kind of partly, I can take credit and say it was part of my show that gave it the name.
Oh, gosh, that's so special.
It is so special.
Aw.
So you girls have listened to the show before, and I'm going to ask you if you have any dreadful dilemmas for the week. And whichever one wants to go first, take it.
Do you want to go first, Cassie? Dreadful dilemma?
Oh, gosh. Sure, I'll go first. Mine's kind of lame. I mean, you could go like, there's so much dreadful stuff in the world going on right now, but
Yep.
I'm going to stick personal and go. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. Like I try to support all of our pod friends. And I've been listening on 1.5 speed or even 2 times speed.
Oh, I've never done that.
Yeah. So I've gotten used to it now. So that whenever I go and I hit just the normal speed, it sounds like everyone's talking in slow motion.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
And it's just dreadful.
Does the real world feel slow to you now?
Kind of, yeah. And I'm like, I'm just used to everything's going fast in my ear pods and just listening to normal speed now. It's like, it's too slow for me, guys.
Has it made you a faster talker?
I think so. And I think I need to just take a breath and step
Take it
back.
down a notch?
Yeah, just take it down a notch.
I totally get that. There's just so many things that if you're just immersed in that sort of way of hearing things or seeing things, you know, almost wearing sunglasses for too long and then taking them off and you're like, the world's a different color.
Exactly.
Your brain just gets used to it. So I could totally get that.
Absolutely.
So that's my funny little dilemma.
Hey, it's totally dreadful if you ask me.
I think so. Yeah.
So what do you got, Caitlin?
Let's see. My dreadful dilemma. This is going to feel not super fresh for you guys because I've already bandied on about this for a little while here as we were getting ready to record. But everyone in my household snores.
Oh, I'm guilty of that too.
And I know this because occasionally I will be up for, you know, sometimes a couple of hours in the middle of the night. Sometimes I just fall asleep really late. Or if I wake up early, I can't fall back asleep. Really runs the gamut of disrupting the REM cycle for me, I've found. I particularly enjoy, at least while I'm up for it anyway, the chorus of the of the various snores.
Oh my gosh.
It's quite something. But as a result, I'm a little bit slap happy today. I'm a little silly. So
Oh no.
Oh, just kind of running on the adrenaline of low quality sleep.
yeah, absolutely. And liquid IV and rosé. Just
Hey.
fueling on up.
That's how you do it.
I mean, it is a Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey, keep fueling up and it'll
Yeah.
just get more fun for you.
Yeah, I think so.
I am a snorer and I fall asleep really easily, like when watching movies. And so if I start to doze off during a movie, back when I had 2 roommates, I would be like, guys, we should watch this movie. And we would watch it. And then I would doze off for a second and they'd be like, dude, what the hell? And I say, what? And they say, you fell asleep. And I'd be like, no, I did not. And they are like, you cannot hide it. You literally snore. And so I always try to overcorrect and act like I did. And I was like, I just breathe that way sometimes when I watch movies.
Oh my
But I come from a
gosh.
long line of snorers.
You know, as one does.
Yeah. And my mom tells me stories like that all the time where she will nudge my dad or try to shove him off the bed or plug his nose or shove a pillow over his face or, you know,
Wow.
whatever murderous thing she does to try to take care of the problem.
Attempted murder.
Yeah, she's ruthless. But, you know, after you've dealt with it for like 25 years, I think, you know, you want that sleep.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's really tired.
Yeah, IV and rosé can only last so long until you're attempting murder.
Absolutely.
So just remember that.
Yeah. Just got to keep that stuff flowing so you
Yeah.
stay on track.
Mm-hmm.
Lesson of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. It's a good thing I like them all.
Yeah. So my dreadful dilemma is I have talked about this once before. I think it was a long time ago before I moved out of my old house, but I don't like mowing the lawn and I'm not going to give you a repeat of that. But I will say that, so since I got this house, I hired a lawnmower guy because I haven't bought a rider because this yard is much larger than the other one. I could push mow it, but who has the time for that?
Humble
Yeah.
brag.
So I've told myself I'm going to get one of those like robot mowers, like the Roomba for your yard that mows for you.
Ooh.
But I haven't spent the money on that because ever since I moved into this house, I've been treating myself with like new recording desk, new this, new that. And it's been pretty pricey. So I've been instead paying this guy. Well, I have a little bit of an OCD issue where I will kind of push things longer because it saves me money. So it's like, oh, I could get a haircut this weekend when it's my scheduled time, but I'm not doing anything this weekend. So let me wait another week and I'll cut my hair next weekend when I actually have plans, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I do the same thing with my yard. Now, the problem with this is we've been in a very rainy spring and grass has been growing like crazy. And so I'm just kind of like, I can wait. Like nobody's coming over. Nobody's going to come look at my house. I'll just have a shitty yard for a week and then I'll call this guy over. So I called him over last week and he sent me a text and was just like, hey, just a heads up. If your yard's going to be long again, maybe you should just find another company.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? Like,
Wow.
I was so
Wow.
hurt. And I get it. A lot of these people do want to schedule a thing for like every 2 weeks or whatever, because a lot of
Sure.
men and whatnot, especially in suburban areas, you know, they want to have the best yard on the block. I don't care. I just want it to be not overran where I lose my dog in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, what do I do in this situation? I was kind of a little butthurt, to be honest. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give him a little jab back. Like, you want to break up with me? Let me turn around on you. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. Your mower can't handle it?
Oh my goodness.
That's the perfect response.
I'm not fired. You're fired.
Yeah, I was like, I guess if I need to find somebody with better equipment, I can do that.
Oh my God.
So his response was, okay, I'll make an exception just this once.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I still got the guy to come out and mow my lawn. But then to make it better, I said, fine, dude, if you want to schedule it every 2 weeks, we can do it. I'm kind of on the clock now to where I need to start getting this together and either save up for my little mower Roomba or just bite the bullet and push mow the whole thing, or just keep paying this guy for every 2 weeks. But he came out last weekend, and since all that damn rain, it doesn't even look like he came out again.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
I believe it. Yeah.
I say save for the Roomba.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool.
Yeah, let it grow out, you know?
Mhm.
Just like when you get really bad bangs.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks. Let's grow it out. I'm considering just mowing it to the lowest I can on a super hot day, so it just scalps it and burns it, and then the grass all dies and turns brown. At least I won't have to manage it anymore. I don't care if it
That's
looks
true.
brown and gross.
Just spray paint it, right?
Yeah, I mean, even as a kid, I said I would love to live in a house where I killed all the grass and put AstroTurf down. And my mom was like, "You're gonna grow out of that one day." You know what? I still haven't grown out of it.
Not
I
a
would
phase.
still be totally fine with an AstroTurf yard. Who cares?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would disagree, because there's a lot of people out here that love to water and then cut and then water their grass to show off how green and beautiful it is.
Oh man, it's a hot topic. People are crazy about their yards.
That's true. I'm so happy to not be a part of that war.
Yeah.
So, as our listeners know, we're doing it a little different with our co-hosting. And so before we jump into segments, I want to give you guys the spotlight to do your own thing, kind of get some more eyes on you guys. I know I've shared a couple of your trailers over the last year, and I want to give you more of a spotlight.
We got ways of making you talk.
So before I ask you the hot questions to get to know you better, tell a little bit about yourself and about your show. Maybe some people can jump on over there after this episode.
Yeah, come over immediately.
Come.
Let's hang out.
We have wine and spooky stories.
We do. We're basically alternating each week between a variety of topics that are just meant to ensure that you have the same quality of sleep that I do. So it's true crime, and then we rotate back to Cassie, and she focuses more on the paranormal. But we have done some episodes where we get a little bit of a combination.
Ooh, spooky crimes.
Yeah.
Special ones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. What are those snacks called where it's like half and half or whatever? Is that like duos?
I don't know. What are these snacks?
I
don't
can't
know
think
about.
of it. Yeah.
I want some snacks.
I know, right? I never don't want snacks.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I just had a smoothie for breakfast today, so a snack sounds great.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Check them out, PNW Haunts and Homicides. And now, I mean, I asked you guys to give some information, and I think you did great. But I think we need to ask you the hard-hitting questions to really get to know you guys.
Okay.
I mean, when I'm talking to Amanda, people have heard all of her problems and all of her things, from being afraid of shitting her pants in public to all of her
no.
pregnancy problems. And I think it's just really important that we fast forward through all that with you guys, and then we hit in the same mark.
Oh, gosh.
So I've got to ask the hard questions here. This first question was given to me by Amanda,
oh, gosh.
and she asks, "Do you think you're better than me?"
Oh, my goodness. Amanda, you have produced two tiny, adorable miniature humans. Of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
Absolutely not. Amanda
Yeah.
is amazing. Her voice, her laugh, her personality. I am obsessed with Amanda. I just have to say that. That's all.
Okay, so we're 3 for 3. Nobody's going to step up and try to take her on.
Absolutely not.
Okay, what's the last thing you threw up?
Ooh.
That was really recently for me, actually.
I am struggling to remember the last time that I threw up, which feels like a milestone in adulthood.
Oh, that's so nice for you.
Haven't been sick in the last couple years that much. And then, I guess just not getting crazy. I'm not 21 anymore, guys.
Yeah, I hear that. It's time to slow down, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
You're so lucky.
I cannot remember. But Cassie,
Mine was
you lucky.
a couple days ago, and it was Impossible Chicken Nuggets.
Oh,
It
Oh.
wasn't their fault. I was sick. It wasn't the Impossible Chicken Nuggets. I promise.
I mean, can we ever really be sure?
I'm sure they
Yeah.
were delicious.
Anything's possible when you're eating Impossible chicken nuggets.
Right. Exactly.
How old were you when you found out birds were government drones?
Today years old.
Oh,
No. No, actually, I did just hear about the birds are fake, that whole phenomenon pretty recently, though.
Oh, I love it.
I'm embarrassed. I'm an elder millennial. I am an old.
I actually bought a shirt from their website because I love them so much.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible.
Yes.
I don't agree with this. Birds are real.
I don't know.
Cassie, that is fake news and you know
I
it.
like birds.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I'm an anti-bird podcaster.
You know how I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, no. See, I like birds.
Well then.
I would never have one. I'm not like a pet bird person, but
Yeah.
I like crows and things outside.
They have funerals and stuff. That's pretty
Yeah,
neat.
they're so smart. See, come on.
But then there's geese.
Yeah, there's geese and there's
So-
chickens. Wee. This one you guys can split amongst yourselves, but what are your 3 favorite things about this interview so far?
The cat in the background, 100%.
Oh, that's Harvey.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
Harvey.
Do we think the cat or do we think Zoom?
Hmm.
I'm going to go cat. You can pick your
Cat,
second
okay.
one.
The audacity.
That's fair.
Amanda, come on. Of course, we don't think that we're better than you.
No.
Just looping right back to number
I'm
one.
so glad she can still be a part of this.
Yeah.
Me too. I miss her.
Yeah.
Did we answer that last one correctly?
I think we only listed 2 things, if I'm being honest.
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Give me the third one.
Yeah. What's the third? Yeah.
I really like being put on the spot. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, and these definitely aren't your normal questions. We wanted this to be the worst and weirdest kind of interview.
Love it.
Yeah.
Which Sesame Street character would you get in a fist fight with?
Oscar.
I was going to say that's like one of the
Oscar.
only ones that I don't know that many Sesame Street characters.
Because they're all too happy. You don't want to fight with them.
Yeah, but there's a lot of new ones and I don't understand them and I'm not up to speed and I'm sorry, Oscar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is a grouch.
He'd be into it.
He probably would. Fighting
Yeah.
may be his love language.
Yeah.
Good point.
Okay, so we'll conclude the questions there. You girls did great.
Yay.
And thanks for being on the spot with that.
Whew.
And for our actual segment, I'm going to share a little killer fact with you guys.
Hello.
We've traced the facts. They're coming from inside the house.
And we'll see if you already knew this. When I deal with other podcasters that are in the more creepy, macabre, interesting realm, I've found that a lot of you people also do the same kind of research that I do. When I was on Twisted and Uncorked, I shared a thing with them, and I was like, oh, I've got a fun fact. And they're like, yeah, we did it. We know it.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. So I totally get it.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah, we all look up a lot of the same things. But, I mean, this is about something that we use very often. Do you know much about Bluetooth? I know, Caitlin, you said you're not very tech savvy and you use your boyfriend's help a lot of the time.
No, I mean I'm not at all. No, not at all.
Cassie, do you use a lot of Bluetooth? Like, your headphones look like they may be Bluetooth.
Yeah, I mean, I know you just like click the button and it like magically connects through the air.
Yes, it's all magic.
Yes.
I assume. I mean that's the correct answer. Magic.
Yes.
Mhm.
I was wondering about the other day. I love it when sometimes for the show, I will have to be like, oh, fun fact. And I'm like kind of rabbit holing until I find the right thing. But I love it when I actually ask myself a question and then I think, I want to know the answer to it. And then I find it out and I'm like, yes, I can't wait to share it with everybody because this is the most natural kind of fact. So I was sitting there connecting to Bluetooth. I wear a smart workout wrist thing that I connect to Bluetooth. I'm not high tech enough to have Bluetooth headphones. I still use the wired ones. But I was like, what kind of name is Bluetooth?
Right?
You know, like, have you ever thought about that? Like, when I was a kid, when Bluetooth first came out, I used to think that Bluetooth was a little blue thing that you put on your molar and it was a microphone that you could use to talk through people. And I realized that can't be true because we would all be using that by now and not be using like earpieces.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
I was like, what kind of name is this? So I looked up where the name Bluetooth comes from. And I found out that Bluetooth got its name from King Harold Bluetooth Gormson. He was a king who united Denmark and Norway in 958.
Huh.
The reason why he was called Bluetooth was because he had a dead tooth that was very dark blue gray color.
Oh.
And you would think that he must not have been a very self-conscious king because he was like, yeah, go ahead and call me by my most unattractive quality. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like if it was me and I had an old dead tooth, I would be off with your head. Anybody that calls me that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's blasphemy.
Yes. So according to Bluetooth's official website, Bluetooth.com, in 1996 when they were coming up with Bluetooth, so it's basically just a short-range radio technology thing. It's not Wi-Fi. It will not interfere with Wi-Fi. It's more for a short range of things. That's why we have smaller devices that connect to our phones with it. It's powerful, but not very long stretching. But when they're coming up with it, they had a bunch of different names for it. And they just used Bluetooth as a placeholder because this guy felt that Bluetooth will be uniting devices together, basically.
Okay.
So he was like, you're uniting your devices the same way that this king united Norway and Denmark.
Feels like a bit of a stretch, but okay.
He must have been a big fan of the guy because if I'm thinking uniting, that's not the uniter I'm thinking of personally.
Nah.
No.
So it was a placeholder. They wanted to call it either radio wire or PAN, which stands for Personal Area Networking.
I don't love those either, if I'm being honest.
They're not catchy.
No, they're boring.
After they had it all ready and put it out, they had to trademark it real quick. And I guess PAN, the Personal Area Network, had already been taken. And they were getting ready to, maybe it was taken by like cooking pans. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they were getting ready to announce this thing to the world, and they couldn't get that trademark. And they're like, oh shit, last second, let's try that radio wire thing. But they couldn't get the trademark to go through fast enough. And I guess it's a big no-no if you're putting something out that fast. So they were like, I guess we just have to launch with Bluetooth. That's all we got. We're just going to go with it. And so we know it today as Bluetooth because these people did not have the time to change it to radio wire like they wanted to.
Wow.
Also, the logo for Bluetooth, if you're familiar with it, the little symbol on your phone that you click,
Yeah.
that is actually bind runes from
I knew it.
younger Futhark runes, I guess.
Gee.
So his initials were HB Bajarkin, Hoggle Bajarkin are what the runes are, I guess. So there's the first rune that's like an X with a line down the middle of it. And then there's the rune for the B, which looks like a really pointy B. So all they did was just put the two runes on top of each other. And that's what makes the Bluetooth symbol.
Oh my gosh.
I always thought that looked like a rune.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this combines literally three things that are very key to my person, which is like the witchiness with the rune, true crime, and then the dental aspect, which I don't love. I could have lived without that.
The old dead tooth.
Oh man, that was super interesting.
So it really is like magic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The rune magic. I found that so interesting and I just loved it and I really wanted to share that one. And I'm glad I could share it with two people at once so I can get two reactions to it. 'Cause that one I just think is so cool. And how did nobody question this already?
Seriously, yeah. I guess I never I thought it was kind of a weird name, but I was like, whatever. People are weird.
Yeah, people are weird. There's like Bluetooth. Whatever makes sense to me. Y'all are weird.
If this was a multiple choice test, I would have said, no way in hell is that the correct answer.
Right, yeah.
100%. It could have been like three other totally ridiculous answers, and those other ones still would have been more plausible.
I could have easily made that a trivia.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, I think we have reached that magical time in every Seriously Sinister episode where we tell some stories.
Yay.
And I believe Cassie is going to go first with
I am.
the PNW story.
Yes. So I know you guys have talked about bananas recently on the show. And I think even Amanda compared her growing baby to a banana, like the size at one point.
Yep.
Yeah. And so when I heard this story, I knew that it belonged here. And it's such a...
I'm so scared.
I know. It's a really serious matter too, so I changed the names.
That's important to do.
It is.
Okay.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
I am ready.
I think so.
Everyone loves bananas. Yellow, phallic, great source of potassium. Banana splits, banana cream pie, peanut butter banana sandwiches. Those frozen bananas dipped in chocolate from Disneyland. They're the most popular fruit in the world if you don't count tomatoes as a fruit. Honestly, who even does that? But did you know that for every banana out there, there is something lurking in the shadows, waiting for the chance to strike? This is the mystery of the serial banana biter. It was a bright and early spring day when Louise made her way to the kitchen for her morning coffee. As she strode past her banana basket, dreaming of her favorite peppermint mocha coffee creamer, she noticed not one, but two rather large chunks missing from one of her staple counter fruits. She screamed, "Not my beautiful bunch of ripe bananas!" She took the defiled banana in her arms and held it, wishing she could heal the damage that had been done. But it was far too late. Why? Ripe with anger, Louise racked her brain trying to figure out who or what could have committed this heinous crime. Was it her ever-starving 60-pound German Shepherd? But there was no way she was nimble enough to nibble on just one banana and not trash the entire contents of the counter in the process. Could it be one of her two small children? I mean, she knew they were weird, but this? She also knew her husband wouldn't dare mess with her like this, for deep fear of her creative retaliations. So Louise delivered her best mom interrogations, but got denials from every last one of them.
I swear I didn't do it, honey. Please don't hurt me.
She thought for sure this was a one-time thing, but each morning, she awoke to the same horrific scene. She began to peel as though this living nightmare would never end. As the days wore on, the burning question of who gnawed her elongated produce haunted Louise. With ideas of sleep snacking, poltergeists, and even hungry trespassers in her head, she realized what she had to do. She plopped down on her favorite spot on the couch and pulled out her phone. She marveled in her cleverness as she tapped the Amazon icon and promptly made a purchase that was sure to put her at ease. 48 hours later, Louise had one husband-installed home security motion detection camera that would catch anything that dared enter her sacred kitchen. She aimed the camera lens directly at the banana basket and waited. The next morning, when she reviewed the tape, she was not prepared for what she saw. There, perched right on the banana basket, was a very well-fed, furry, sticky-whiskered, beady-eyed, worm-tailed rat. Louise was immediately on the phone with pest control. Now that this mystery is solved, let Louise's harrowing story serve as a lesson to everyone in home fruit security. And like the great Gwen Stefani always says, this shit is bananas. BANANAS. I did it.
You did great.
Thank you.
I still thought you were going to do the spider, and I'm like, we will not recover from this.
Not a spider.
That was great. I can really tell you
Thank you.
did your homework. Like you just really felt the style. I love it.
I tried really hard. So I actually have a photo of the infamous rat
Get out.
caught by security camera. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, gross. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need that for social media.
I will 100% send it to you. So this is a real story that my friend relayed to me. And I was just like, I have to tell your story. She was not as dramatic about the bananas.
This was her story?
This was one of my friend's stories, yeah.
Okay, I thought you found this online.
No.
Ooh.
No, she was not as dramatic about the bananas as I made it seem, but she was also slightly confused as to why I wanted to write a story about it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Fair.
It just struck my creative bone and I had to have fun with it.
But she was dramatic enough to get the camera for it.
Right. Yeah. I thought that was so funny. She did not think it was a rat. She was like, my house is clean. It's spotless. There's no way it's a rat.
I mean, it doesn't really come down to just cleanliness, right?
Oh, yeah. No.
You know, they can get into your house if you have construction going on in the area.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a wooded area, and I told Chris last night, actually, I swear that little rustling noise was a mouse. And he's like, no way.
It could be.
I hate mice so much.
Yeah.
Watch your bananas.
Well, we don't have bananas because in a twist that's Bananas, Christopher is allergic to bananas.
Oh, where does he get his potassium?
Yeah. We both have a weird fruit allergy. So, I mean, it's a good thing we found each other.
Right.
I'll eat the bananas. He can eat the pineapple. It works out.
Wow. I loved that story. I thought that was great. If it was me in this situation, I am very suspicious of everybody. So you said it was a husband installed camera.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have trusted the husband with this because my fingers still would have been kind of pointing in his direction.
It's true.
Right. You don't know. You could have a mole.
Yeah.
You know, like this whole operation could be blown wide open or the footage could just go missing, you know?
Yeah. What if he installed it and then never bit the banana again because he knew the camera was on him?
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Then she would have had to do some more mom interrogating around the house.
Yeah. So obviously Louise has less trust issues than I do.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
But it worked out for her this time.
Oh gosh, I thought that was so funny that they installed a whole security camera to catch a rat. It's just gold.
I mean, I probably would have too. I would have been equally as like, I have trust issues, but I would have been like, do we have like the world's most petty and bizarre burglar?
Yeah.
Like a repeated burglary that's happening where they're stealing a bite of banana.
I wonder what the fine for that would be if you actually did break into a house and just bite a banana like once every week or day or something.
Yeah. I mean, multiple charges of breaking and entering. They're going to stack those puppies.
Damn. Yeah. Maybe somebody out there will do it and we'll find out. I'll keep an eye on the news. Well, speaking of the news, I'm going to do a story from the news.
Ooh.
And I don't know how you feel about heist movies, but I felt like maybe we could do a heist story.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to dive on into this thing and then we can discuss after. Be thinking when you're listening, or I will put you guys on the spot for your idea for connections.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've
got one, but I would love to hear if you have a different one.
Okay.
All right. And here we go. Everyone loves a good heist. From the Ocean's movies to American Animals. Hell, even the Marvel movies jumped in and based the first Ant-Man around heists. It is a concept that audiences can get behind and easily understand. It's really quite simple. A big business or entity has something that the main character wants, and they devise a plan to get it for themselves. This usually starts with some long montage of people assembling a team that is perfect for the job.
I need you for one final job.
At its core, we can all relate to it. If you have the resources, you would love to get a little piece of Jeff Bezos' money for yourself. I'm sure my mom would don a black mask and learn to pick locks if she knew there was a low-security Pampered Chef warehouse somewhere.
Oh my God.
And if there was some physical way to steal someone's abs, you bet your ass I'd steal the beach body of my dreams from Chris Evans.
Somebody stole my beautiful body.
People love to see things like this play out. There's a certain kind of justice for the little people that comes from this. It also helps that a lot of these movies do show the side of the victim, in which we see just how evil they are.
I will tax air so that I'm always making money.
Based on their actions alone, we want them to lose their riches.
This guy sucks.
I've personally never led a heist, but I believe I would make a good leader. Ever since I've become aware of my OCD, I've learned how to channel my powers for good. Or at least, in a way that serves me. I pay incredible attention to detail, and I don't let a lot get past me. Of course, for me, this can be to my own detriment. But I think those skills are helpful for those kind of missions. After all, I would be overthinking all of the ways the heist could go wrong, while focusing on the best way to organize my DVDs. Obviously, that's best kept alphabetical. Or should it be by the production company and director? Shit. Today's caper will bring you up close and personal with a petty heist that rocked one California community. The price point is high, and like Chris Evans' ripped midsection, things have never been harder. Alberto was a man with a plan. Coming from a family with no money, he was able to pull himself up from his bootstraps and earn everything he had.
I am a hard worker.
There was just no keeping him down. Being the sole owner and proprietor of Montemayor Trucking, he had his fair share of ups and downs. Managing all of his unruly drivers,
I don't want to drive.
keeping up with regular maintenance of his vehicles, and the time a family of raccoons moved into one of his trucks was all just part of the job.
Get back! Ew, one touched me!
Being a company in the American economy, he didn't want to give his workers insurance or a living wage. But he found a way to toe that line and still make profits for himself. Alberto was a consummate professional. He handled every challenge with grace while still keeping a stern grasp on the business. Unfortunately, there was a new challenge on the horizon that proved to be a bit larger than he was capable of working around: the COVID-19 pandemic. In the old days, it was easy for Alberto to hear an employee's sob story about their sick kid and tell them that they will not pay the employer contributions on their insurance. There was always a workaround for not giving his people what they were owed.
The fine print says if you sign here, I don't actually have to.
As it is common practice in trucking, Alberto would lease the trucks to his employees and have them pay for the trucks, while considering them owner-operators and not actually employees. It was so evil and so genius. But a worldwide pandemic really muddied the waters. Sure, he was still able to not give these people insurance. It wasn't that bad. But Alberto ran into a lot of pitfalls with the new regulations. Trucking was considered essential, and technically, his drivers were quarantining if they ever came up positive. But there were still times where drivers would feel too sick and refuse to drive.
I feel like a popsicle that's on fire!
In trucking, time is money. Alberto had it calculated down to the minute on how much money he would be losing if a shipment were to be late or stopped altogether. Although business was actually more busy than ever, he could not stand seeing any point where he was not making the maximum return for his deliveries.
Just put on a coat and crank the AC.
Alberto's mindset began to shift back into the way he was when he first started Montemayor Trucking. As the old corporate saying goes, if you get hungry enough, you'll find a way to eat. And let's just say, Alberto was famished. Sitting down with his most shady constituent, Claude Van Pelt, they began to discuss their most diabolical of plans. "We need to make more money for ourselves, and I don't care how illegal it is," Alberto said. Yes," Claude said, while twisting his thin, pencilly mustache. "We are already bleeding our drivers dry. Maybe we should commit a murder?" Alberto pondered on the thought, but quickly shut it down. "Listen, I'm a bad guy, but I'm not that bad of a guy," Alberto explained. "Also, if we commit a murder, Seriously Sinister will not do a story on us." "Oh, nuts," Claude exclaimed. "I wasn't thinking about that." But in Claude's quick reaction, Alberto found inspiration. "That's it! I need nuts!" Alberto shouted. Unsure of where this was going, Claude began to hesitantly unzip his pants. "No, no, no!" Alberto screamed, stopping Claude. "Our community runs on nuts. Big, tasty, delicious, and salty nuts. I want my hands all over those nuts." Alberto went on to remind Claude that in the neighboring town was the Touchstone Pistachio Company, a major player in the community's $5.2 billion nut industry. Their trucking company had already been hired to deliver some of their nuts before. It wouldn't be hard for them to get through their salty security and take a truckload. Together, the two devised a plan for how to infiltrate and steal D's nuts. They cleaned out a garage where they would offload the nut sacks and then repackage them to sell to distributors. Claude would handle the operation, Alberto would resell the new nuts, and all they needed was a driver. Luckily, Alberto knew just the guy for the team. Alberto walked up to Tony, leaning against his semi-truck crying. "Hey Tony," Alberto greeted. "Do you still have that sick kid at home?" "Yes, sir," said Tony. "On your pay and no insurance, we just try to get by with Tylenol every 6 hours." Alberto knew that he had the perfect person to exploit. Tony took little to no convincing. Albert would provide the lowest level of catastrophic insurance coverage he could, and in return, Tony would steal and deliver the illegal truckload of nuts. The plan went off without a hitch. Each delivery that needed to be made, the crew would simply skim a couple of 2,000-pound bags off the top. Over time, they had a warehouse of around 42,000 pounds of hard, yummy nuts. They would then open the 2,000-pound bags and transfer them to smaller, easier-to-move bags. Alberto didn't even have to do much brushing up on his salesman tactics. All he had to do was get a meeting with a distributor, walk in wearing one of his best suits, and then slap a sack of his finest nuts on the table. These nuts practically sold themselves. What had first started as a time of financial strain had turned into a massive influx of cash. There was a new nut daddy in town, and his name was Alberto. Who would have known that such a simple treat would bring such great fortune? But not long into the big nut lifestyle, Montemayor Trucking had some visitors from the Tulare County Sheriff's Office. After an audit at the Touchstone Pistachio Company turned up over 40,000 pounds of nuts missing, they were investigating nearby trucking companies. It didn't take too many doors opening before the officers walked in on Alberto with a handful of nuts.
It's not what it looks like.
In June of 2021, 35-year-old Alberto Montemayor led a heist to steal thousands and thousands of pounds of pistachios directly from the Touchstone Pistachio Company. Repackaging and reselling to other distributors, this was a criminal enterprise that turned out to be highly profitable for Alberto. Unfortunately, Montemayor Trucking was not located far from Touchstone Pistachio, leading to them being one of the first stops for the sheriff's office. The investigation lasted less than a day. Alberto was arrested and charged with grand theft of vegetables and fruits, as well as receiving stolen property. Although I could not find how it played out in court, he was originally facing a sentence of 3 years and 8 months in prison. Surprisingly to some, this is not the first time that California has seen underground criminal nut activity. In fact, this is quite common. There is a whole circuit of bad guys just scheming ways to get their hands on our nation's precious nuts. Just 1 year before this crime, a 23-year-old man stole 2 truckloads of pistachios, worth around $294,000. Others have even gone as far as creating entire fake trucking companies with forged documentation to steal deliveries of nuts. Central California is accountable for most of the nation's pistachios, walnuts, and almonds. So it is a huge target for anyone trying to get into the game. Nuts are untraceable and extremely easy for resale. Between the years of 2014 and 2017, nut companies saw a loss of more than $7.6 million through these trucking schemes, leading some companies to require fingerprints and photos of anyone picking up an order. This crime has opened my eyes to how big of a problem this really is. Living in Middle America, I would have never guessed that this was an actual problem that a company like this would face. Now that I am aware, I can see that nut theft is not a victimless crime. And the next time I'm enjoying a mouthful of delicious salty nuts, I'll be hoping that these nuts were acquired through honest means.
Oh my goodness.
Why are nuts so funny?
You've got the nervous burp laugh and at least one really solid snort on my end.
Oh my gosh. That was great.
Oh,
Thank
goodness.
you. That's one I've been holding on to for a while. I've been wanting to do that one, and I finally took the plunge last weekend. I was like, I'm going to write this, Bad Daddy.
Welcome to capitalism.
Yeah. And I also wanted to do a deep dive on the trucking industry too, and just how messed up that is. But
Yeah.
It really is. There's a lot of aspects of it that are, but yeah, it's wild.
yeah,
The stolen nuts.
stolen nuts. I didn't even know that that was a thing. Like, people who are from the California area probably know this better than I do. But when I was reading about that, I was just like, oh my God. I just didn't think that if you stole nuts, to resell them was going to be so easy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't think so.
Because it's food. You'd have to go through some sort of, I don't know.
Well, I think in a lot of cases, when it's either counterfeit or stolen product, it's sold directly to much smaller retailers,
That's true.
but also directly to restaurants. That's one of the big ways that that gets done. I listened to a whole podcast series about this salty sweet nut trade.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know there was a series on that.
Wow.
I would listen to that.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that I'm like, this whole time, I'm like, okay, I got to look that up somewhere. I think that I found it on Audible. So I'll have to send you guys a link to that because it's so interesting, but it kind of blows your mind a little bit.
Yeah, it almost sounds like something swindled would do.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing, and it sounds very profitable. I think I would have stopped at maybe, I think even a 2,000-pound bag would probably get you a little bit of money. I wouldn't have pushed my luck with 40,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts.
Was it just pistachios or?
Pretty ballsy.
This particular crime that I followed was just pistachios, but in those other examples that I kind of brushed over at the end, I believe those were kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Pistachios are pricey too.
Mhm.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah, nuts aren't cheap.
No.
Apparently, they're not easy to come by. I don't know.
Oh, and all
Oh, my
the Chris
goodness.
Evans talk was cracking me up. Oh my God.
What a built man. So, connections, do you guys have any for me?
I heard a couple,
Let me grab my notebook.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Cassie, you can go first.
Oh, well, like the whole nut thing. And then I was talking about bananas being phallic. So obviously they go together.
Oh, yeah. Together we build a whole male unit.
Yes, we do.
Wow.
I like that. That's a fun one. I was going to take the low-hanging fruit and just say food in general, but
Yeah.
we've covered just food straight up episodes, so I'm hoping for something more specific.
It was stealing food, though. They were both stealing food. So
That's true.
Yeah. That's what I had. Theft. Just that element, but specifically theft of food. Let's see. Oh, the big one for me was that both of these stories, Cassie, yours was kind of in a bigger way, but Trevin also mentioned picturing his mom putting on, burglary uniform, if you will. So it was moms investigating and or perpetrating theft, depending on the story.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I didn't think about the mom thing.
I was trying to come up with something obscure.
Yeah, that's a good one. And sometimes we have to go obscure because we try not to ever repeat the same one. And
Yeah.
it helps us from taking the low-hanging fruit sometimes because we're like, oh, I don't want to use this one now. I'll just go for a wackier one.
Well, I found 2 more if you want to
Okay.
hear them.
Drop them on me.
You mentioned kids, which I also mentioned kids.
Okay.
And then you also mentioned raccoons, which was a pest.
That's true. A little vermin.
Yeah.
I like I'm not sure how we would word this, but yes, the whole compiling the male. I'm doing hand gestures, but yes,
Yeah.
the male,
It's the whole member,
Yeah.
if you will.
the entire male member.
That's a good one.
Yeah. With our powers combined, we are the male member.
The pork and the beans, if you will.
Yes. Well, that works.
Oh, gosh.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I like that a
gosh.
lot. Well, I had a lot of fun with doing this with you guys.
I
And
did too.
Yeah.
this is actually my first time doing a Seriously Sinister with 3 people. Amanda and I, when we do guest stories, just have people send stories in. So
Yeah.
I wondered how that was going to work, but I think we made 3 work very well. So I will be not as against having a full guest episode again sometime when I get Amanda back.
Oh,
Yeah. That'll be fun.
So thank you for showing me a whole new world.
you're welcome.
And now I hear the
A
song.
whole
Yes.
new world.
There we go.
Cassie's solo to take us home.
6 singing.
So this is my second episode with the guest host, my Seriously Sinister and Friends little phase I'm going through. I know we've got at least 1 to 2 more. Amanda is telling me that she's feeling better, but I'm still giving her
Oh my
time to get
gosh.
her stuff, the mommy mentals and stuff like that, and the
Yeah.
physical too, because it was a C-section, so she needs the time.
Yeah.
Right. Just recovery.
Yeah, she can talk a big game and say she's ready, but I want to force her to recover as much as I can get her to stay down.
Good.
Absolutely. Because we don't believe her.
No, never.
Come
I saw
on.
her struggling enough when she was pregnant, and I don't want to force her. I mean, she made life, people. We
Yeah.
need to give her that.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And she needs to give herself that, too, if you're listening.
And that's so exciting that her baby was born so close to Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a very special Mother's Day with this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys, you have to deal with me flying without Amanda for a couple more weeks after this, but that is okay. We have more surprises and excitement coming up.
You can do it. We believe in you.
Yeah, I think I can do it. The more I do it, I'm actually getting a lot better at it. I'm feeling more comfortable. The episode hasn't come out yet, but the episode I did last week, my dreadful dilemma was my fear of talking on Zoom and running Zoom stuff because I think the timing is a little awkward sometimes.
Oh,
But I will say I felt a lot better this time. It's one of those things, exposure. You just got to get better at it.
yeah.
So, any closing remarks, ladies?
Cassie.
Closing remarks.
Yeah, I don't know. Hashtag never Bundy. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you want us to talk about us or just like something in general?
You can say whatever you want. Talk about a
gosh.
nutsack. Talk about your show. You
Talk
can-
about a nutsack.
So again, it's Caitlin and Cassie from PNW Haunts and Homicides. Check them out. Going to figure out how to do Instagram collab posts where their names are both on it and it goes to both feeds. So
Ooh.
there's going to be a whole lot of putting their stuff out there. So you won't miss it on my socials.
We're putting our stuff out there.
Yeah, putting our stuff out there. We'll put a link to their stuff in the show notes as well.
Very on brand for the episode.
So as always, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
It's true.
It is true.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking to you later, peeps.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to Seriously Sinister.
If you have a true petty crime story to share, please email us at seriouslysinisterpodcast@gmail.com or send us a Facebook message.
If you would like to support our show, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
Also, tell your friends about this podcast.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Seriously Sinister Podcast.
And on Twitter at SeriouslySinPod.
Shout out to Trevin for writing all of the original music you hear and for producing our show. Follow him and his music at Fiesta Maiden on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Facebook.
And credit to Miranda Lucas for our awesome logo. You can find her on Instagram at MirandaLucas26.
All stories are written by myself and Trevin, and all stories are based on actual, true petty crimes.
Wishing she could heal the damage that had been done, but it was far too late. Caitlin, you're fucking killing me right now.
At least you can't hear me. I'm just so relieved it's not about those tropical banana spiders. I was like, oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't.
Or is it? Okay.